survey data suggests that 74% of battered women were harassed by their partner while at work. Now, victims also say that abuse spikes during a bad economy and when they take steps to leave the relationship. So some enlightened companies are taking steps to help their employees when they need it most.
Nancy Salamone, a bride at 19, discovered just after her honeymoon that her new husband's explosive anger could be triggered by the most trivial thing.
I put the towels in the bathroom, not the way he was used to them, and that started off an evening of screaming and yelling and being physically abused throughout the night. And it was my introduction to what my marriage was going to be like.
The truth of her marriage stayed a dark secret. On the outside, a smart and confident VP, but on the inside, a wife who'd been battered for nearly 20 years. After one harrowing night, she decided to get out.
At one point, he got me on the couch, and his hands were around my neck. And I said to myself, just close your eyes, you're gonna die.
She finally sat down with her boss and asked for help.
I very simply said, this has been an abusive situation. I do not know what this person is going to do, and that I was afraid.
Work became a safe haven for Nancy, and experts say she is far from alone. In fact, increasingly more and more women are turning to the workplace for help.
I used to go to my office and I would close the door and lie down on the floor and take a nap because I'd been up all night.
Being yelled at.
Being yelled at, and worse.
Brooke McMurray is a successful executive, long since divorced from a husband she says abused her for years. She's now helping others. With a group called Safe Horizon, she works with companies to recognize the impact of domestic violence. In addition to the obvious personal toll, it costs American businesses an estimated $6 billion a year in healthcare expenses, lost productivity, and unworked days.
And I really believe this, that once people understand what this is and what it looks like and how it affects them, that workplace will become safer.
For Liz Claiborne CEO Bill McComb, it's not just a productivity issue. The company has long been on the front lines of the war on domestic violence. But on his second day on the job, an employee, Jeanette Claudio, mother of 2 young children, was shot and killed by her abusive husband in their home.
It made me immediately ask our people, what more can we do? The key is that companies like ours don't have to get in the business of domestic violence counseling. They have to get in the business of letting women know that the workplace is a safe haven environment.
Safe Horizon works with companies to teach employees to spot symptoms of abuse, long sleeves in hot weather, sunglasses indoors. But most importantly, it gives victims a safe way to get help by providing domestic violence hotline phone numbers everywhere.
When you see the writing on the wall, literally, or on your computer screen, you stop and you think.
Right now, only 21 states have laws that require employers to assist victims of domestic violence by granting leave if necessary and by banning discrimination against employees who've been abused. It's a campaign that's more necessary than ever. The National Domestic Violence Hotline says they've received 17,000 more calls this year than last. The victims report that painful economic conditions make their abusers lash out even more. Brooke McMurray knows that for every one of those numbers, there's a woman living in danger.
When they answer the phone at the hotline, the question they say, the first thing they ask you is, are you safe? And that is the most important question, because if you are being abused, you're never safe.
You should know that Jeanette Claudio's husband, Miguel Gonzalez, was convicted of her murder. He is scheduled to be sentenced this Friday.
Gigi, what do you do if you suspect that a coworker is being abused?
Well, it's tough. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence says you shouldn't really confront that coworker. In fact, you should say, I'm here to listen. How can I encourage you? A good place to do that, oddly, is in the performance review. Really? When it feels confidential. Mm-hmm. And then together you can decide, do we go to a supervisor? Do we go to HR? And obviously, if you see or witness any violence, call police and get it on record.
And it's so true what you're saying about not to confront them, because you don't want to scare them off.
Right.
And if they feel that way.
And they well know that when they try to leave their abuser and get help
Right.
is when violence escalates. So it's a very tricky situation.
Yeah, just want them to be safe.
Exactly.
That's what our hope is. All right, thanks so much, Juju, for
My
bringing
pleasure.
that. And you get more information about this program at our website at abcnews.com.